us in this condition, wahala go there. If you leave us in this situation, if I ever be yours, some people no get place to sleep, some people no get food to shop. Mama they wash pikin they die. Things are getting out of hand. Mama Ragio kaina yo. All we need is your grace. Biano bianyera yaka. Ifene mebio. Odogwa kataka onemri mama. Aranazo biano. Agamaturu chimo. Twaya mama. Agamaturu chimo. I see no boogie Jehovah. Onye ne chena kiti. Ewezuka ginu Jehovah. Doctor na bona kiti. Ebele chuku kaina yo. Arisike kaina yo. Amara chuku kaina yo. Nimono dua. Agamaturugi mama. Agamaturu chimo mama. Twaya mama. Agamaturu chimo mama. Ay. Chetazenu kwikwere. Okwisina kuraga kubumo. Chetazenu kwikwere. Okwisini gruntutisimo. Okwisina oriagare. Isina wikaburi makamo. Oye bube. Mama ragio. Moya kaya. Agamaturu chimo. Mama. Agamaturu ya. Mama. Oh. This is the best movie. Original Mr. Flavor Party dance on the dance.
Igbo mma mmanụ ekene m unu nke onye chiri ya zere ọmụwa bụ egbe ejiri gbuo agụ na-ewetara unu Igbo nọ n'ụzọ ije. N'ụbọchị nke tata anyị nwere atụmatụ dị oke iche dị mkpa. Anyị nwere okwu nke ndị oyibo na-akpọ talk show. Anyị kpọbatara ọdịka mmadụ bụ ndị Igbo nọ na United Kingdom a ka ha kpaa ụbụbọ banyere otu ndị Igbo ga-esi aga n'iru n'ihe gbasara ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria. N'ụbọchị nke tata bụ na-echeta ụbọchị ọmụmụ m bụ 19th of September. Eji m ohere nụnwa na-agwa ndị niile na-ege anyị ntị n'ụbọchị tata ma emechaa ọgbakọ nụnwa na a ga-enwe oriri na nkwari iji wee cheta ụbọchị ọmụmụ m n'oge mgbede tata. Ndị be anyị, ana m ekene unu na-asị ka m gbabata ndị anyị nwere n'ụbọchị tata anyị na ha gwere ịkpakọta ụbụbọ ọnụnwa. Mmadụ dịka ogotere m mmadụ dịka Dr. Chioma. Dr. Chioma, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ewejibuago, and congratulations on your birthday. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ogotere mmadụ dịka Ugogbuzuo, Chief Ugogbuzuo Chimezie Ume.
Daalụnụ Igbo bụ Igbo, Ewejibuago.
Ugogbuzuo nọ.
Ndị ọma niile na-ege ntị, ekene m unu. congratulations also on your special day.
Thank you very much. Bogota Maradeka Barrister Chika Ike Michael.
Yes. Thank you for having thank you for having me on your program and congratulations.
Bogota Maradeka Phil Chief.
Daalụnụ, unu na-anụ ọnụ m?
Ya na n'onu gị mana ya rafụghị anya.
Amara m ife mee kamera m adịghị egosi.
Okay, afụbago gị.
Ọ pụta o disappear, mana daalụnụ rinne.
Good. Kpọkọtara anyị onye ọzọ bụ Maazị Ikechukwu Njoko, bụ a regional leader in the World Igbo Congress, Europe. Maazị, you're welcome.
Igbo, ana m ekene unu. Ana m asị nke onye chiri ya zere. Nwanne anyị nwaanyị, ana m ekene gị, na-ekenekwe gụnwa bụ Chief Emeka onye Ekwere.
Nwanne.
Anyị mechaa na anyị ṅụọ ọgwụ afọ ka anyị mara ka anyị ga-esi were.
Udodi. None, ụmụnne m, none. Our show today is a special edition because it's a talk show on the way forward for the Igbos. Without wasting your time, because this program is supposed to be a period of 1 hour. It's just 1 hour program. So we have to be brief and talk to the points. Tell us, in your own opinion, which way do you think that we should go forward as the Igbos in Nigerian politics?
Who starts?
Chimezie.
Wekelekwa m ụlọ ọzọ. Daalụnụ. Nke onye chi ya zelo.
Oh, sorry. I've not introduced Dr. Uche Nwachukwu to come up, please. Ugumba Nambise.
Meeting. Can I call you back later, please?
Ugumba Nambise.
Okay, yeah, I'll call you. I'll call you later, though.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Dr. Ugumba, are you there? Dr. Nwachukwu, are you there? It's not. All right, Chimezie, can you continue? Dr. Gumba is coming up. Yeah, Ugobuzu. Yeah, can you continue on the way forward for the Igbos in Nigerian politics?
Okwu ahụ nke okwu miri emi. And I asụ nsụọ n'Igbo nsụọ n'oyibo. I hope
it's allowed.
That is allowed.
Yeah.
Okene ihe enwere so many factions and so many discussions about it. But I think that for me, the most important question will be, because when you want to address issues, as a consultant, my day job, you first of all find the root cause of whatever is the problem. Because I'm the finance, and so I think the fundamental question we need to answer first, but what is the problem the Igbos are facing in today's Nigeria? Where has that problem started? And then we can then begin to look at those concepts and those backgrounds where it says here, in order to address each of these problem areas and the cause of it, we can look at how to address them one by one. And so for me, I think it's taking those steps back. A lot of times, ndị mmadụ na-eche not just the civil war problem in Nigeria, and so it's after the civil war, or maybe just before the civil war. But I think our problem had started a long time for that, even before the amalgamation of the country Nigeria, the entity Nigeria, as we know it today, even before the amalgamation in 1914. The Igbos had in particular an ethnic group that had been placed on a very challenging position by the colonial masters and the people who had already colonized parts within them. And due to Kaisi Bilicha na hinterland, one of the problems we had was the collective governance. And so there were pockets of groups and pockets of towns and entities. They strong themselves, some are weak themselves and have their own individual ways of ruling. But when you work on along those ethnic or language group, we form a strong group that could challenge most of the invaders and then as Igbos. And that was why it was why we have very strong groups who gave pockets of resistance against the colonial masters. It was also very easy to bring in kind of the divide and rule policies. And so for me, if we begin to look at that disparity as a nation, and so an Igbo nation now, if we begin to look at all those disparities, now an arrow for onye Nsukka or onye Wawa, not as onye Igbo, or onye Wawa for onye Anambra as onye Ijekebe ma onye Onitsha fu onye ndị ọzọ as ndị Igbo, and so on and so forth. And that has been something historical. But this is what had then moved on as we went into independence. Now, if we come to this, so that ethnic and historical concept is one causal areas why still today those factions and those groups and those entities are still existing. And so, but and that's one part, and we can keep it. But then we approach the second part, our political acumen in terms of the project Nigeria as at 1914. Most of the historical knowledge we have known and which had been documented most times attest to the fact that amongst most of our political elites at that time, the conception is that we are stronger as a nation to actually take away that colonial powers if we're able to work with the northern part of the Nigeria or the western part of the Nigeria and all that very ethnic groups. And that's the only way we can be strong enough to challenge the powers of the colonial masters. And so for most of them, The drive at that time had been, let us bring all these people together so that we can achieve our concept. But that was not the position of these other people. And therefore, in politics, as we know it today, there will always be balances and compromises and lobbying and positions. And so, in that part of lobbying and positions and everything, and to achieve that lofty goal, our political forefathers more or less had given compromises that allowed or that had driven most section of the countries to have greater powers and greater say in the scheme of things. And so we can look at some of the activities, even some of the census figures we had long before independence, to see that, and we see current reports that are coming out about the bias already for some sections of the nation long before then. And so those were all the compromises they had to make. Were they right at that point, or was it right? That's another discussion, and these are the things I say if we begin to go back to all the root cause of our challenge.
Ugogbuzuo, ịma ihe a bụ aka nwere many people ka ga-ekwu okwu na ihe gbasara this nke izizi a ka anyị na-egbu na ya ịchafụ because na ajụjụ nwere ebe ahịrị nne.
So to wrap it up, Egbe, I think what is important bụ Igbo ịchọpụtagodi ihe bụ nsogbu anyị. I think this is our first challenge. Na mmadụ ise anụ anyị dị nọrọ ebe a na ịjụ anyị nche niile ihe bụ nsogbu ndị Igbo will not come into a single agreement. What is our single fundamental challenge?
Mmadụ isii ka unu dị ebe mmadụ ise. Mmadụ isii ka unu dị ebe a na ọbụrụ
mmadụ isii ka m kwuru.
Okay, eche m isi mmadụ ise.
Mmadụ isii ka m kwuru.
Okay. Daalụ Ugogbuzuo. N'egbu oge ka akpọlite Oriakụ Chioma, Dr. Chioma Nwafọ. Kedu ihe iche bụ the way forward for the Igbos in the Nigerian politics?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Egbe Ejibuagu, for having me once again. Like Ugogbuzuo said, I don't know if we are speaking English or we are mixing the two, but
you can mix the two.
Let me go. All right, let me go mostly with English so that we can accommodate the audience that may not, Igbo may not be their first language.
The language, yeah.
Yeah. So, like Ugogbuzuo rightly pointed out, if we don't, I believe that in order to treat a disease, I think diagnosis is very important. And we have a doctor, a medical doctor in our midst who might want to agree with my statement. So it's very essential to understand the so-called Igbo problem, as some people would like to call it, in order to provide solutions on how to solve them. I think, in my own opinion, I think the fundamental problem of the Igbo nation is the apathy and hatred that the other two majority tribes, like Hausas and Yorubas, have for Ndi Igbo. And I say this with every sense of patriotism and as a person that believes in strength in diversity. But it is very essential that we look at how things has panned out immediately after the Civil War, immediately after the declaration of the No Victor, No Vanquished declaration, and the Nigerian nation embarked on the 3 R's, what they call 3 R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. It is sad to still note today that in the Igbo, we are yet to find our feet in Nigeria politics. Let me do a little throwback, and I'm conscious of time here. During the 2019 presidential elections, I listened to an audio clip an audio clip, I think it was in 1952, of an interview with late Sir Hamadu Bello, the then premier of northern Nigeria. He said unequivocally, and I quote, that the North will not employ Igbos in its civil service, because if you gave them an inch, you will not know when they will take a mile. So this was as far back as 1952. And this apathy did not reduce going forward, you see. And Igbos, we have always tried to play a regional politics, which does not favor us at all. So the fear of the Igbos and the apathy towards this people group has significantly increased even in recent times. You can see that the rejection of Dr. Alex Ekweme as the PDP presidential candidate in 1999, even though he was a founding member of the party, was a clear rejection of the Igbo candidacy. So for me, the problem of the Igbo nation is that apathy. And I will expound on this as we go forward. Thank you.
Biko onye ọbụla nọ na this ihe biko ka ọ phone you move to your phone because all the noise na from the background. All right, Chairman, Biko, continue.
All right. Okay. So like I said, is the apathy towards the
Chairman, I think it's your phone.
Is it my phone? I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, an echo coming in. Is that Chika?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So I'll continue. So I think is the apathy from the other ethnic majority group, the Yorubas and the Hausas, that they have towards the people group called the Igbos. That's part of our problem. And then our inability to play a national politics. We are overly focused on regional political ideology, which is part of what we will be discussing as we go forward in this in today's discourse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chioma. Neburoge, can I call in Barrister Chika Michael? What do you think? Or what do you think about the Igbos moving forward in Nigerian politics?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you once again, Emeka, for inviting me to this program. It's really great talking to all these, great people from Nigeria, from Igbo land, and being here in United Kingdom. I'm hoping that we're going to have a great conversation today. Now, as others said, I'm going to talk mostly in English because my thought pattern is in English, and not because I cannot speak Igbo. I was born in Anambra State, and I speak Igbo quite fluently. But I think my thought pattern with respect to this particular issue we're talking about is more like in English. So I apologize to those who may want this program to be in English, and sorry, in Igbo, and I'm speaking in English. And moreover, as the last speaker said, we need to be able to let others, because there's no point talking to ourselves alone. So in that respect, let me move forward. I'm not going to such go. Of course, the history is very, very important, but I think that has been articulated quite very well by the last two speakers. So I'm going to be thinking about how do we move forward? Because I'm a pragmatic person, I understand that we need to, then go how to deal with it, as we usually say. Now, I understand that. But as a pragmatic person, I'm thinking of today in Nigeria. All those are history. We need to know that. We need to teach our children that, because history is very important. But the question is, what do we do from now onwards? And what have we been doing? So in my opinion, without going too much to the past, and I recognize what the last speaker said about what the former premier of Nigeria, Northern Nigeria said, is really deplorable in every respect. And I understand that, right? But my concern for Igbos is, from now onwards, where do we go from here? Because at the moment, we are still part of Nigeria. So what do we do? How do we get involved? Already, Igbos are quite involved in the national politics of Nigeria. There's always been this question of an Igbo man has not been president. But if you listen to Dr. Nyanwodo, revered Dr. Nyanwodo, whom I hold in very great esteem, the issue is not really about just having a president. I think the issue has always been ability to attract infrastructures, right, to Igbo land, to develop Igbo land and allow our people, because we're ubiquitous people, we go all over the federation, to allow our people to live in peace in any part of Nigeria that we see ourselves, right? And then ensure that we are treated as equal in this federation. I think that is the issue. So for me, the question becomes, I don't want to go deep into the conversation because I'm sure there will be other questions you may want to ask as we go along. So for me, the question becomes, how do we go forward? And if you ask me, without going too much into details, I will say that the way forward for me will be for us to find a way to restructure Nigeria. If we restructure Nigeria, I think it is better for us as Igbos to remain a constituent part of Nigeria. So I'm going to leave it here because of time so I can let others come in.
That's good. Thank you very much, Barrister Chika. Can we bring in Dr. Uche Nwachukwu Ugwumbanambise, a psychiatric consultant?
Well, thank you for having me.
Ugwumbankizizi. No, one name.
Panelists, fellow panelists, I greet everybody. Yeah. Adakibia.
Doctor, evening, sir. Ugumba.
It's like we've lost Dr. Ugumba. Probably he will rejoin back. Probably his internet is not too good. Can I bring up Phil?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, panelists. Thank you for inviting me. I think I'm going to stand on the protocols by other people that have spoken before me. Yeah, the question you asked about where the Igbo stands in the scheme of things in Nigeria. First of all, we are, in as much as restructuring is going to be good for the country as a whole, we cannot be asking for restructuring because it looks like we are begging for restructuring. The called Igbo elites have already failed us woefully. That today, young people like myself, we don't have any trust in them. I'm very disappointed in when I heard the name of the current Ohaneze chairman, Nnaemodo. I don't know what he has done to help the Igbo cause. It is obvious, and everybody can see the handwriting on the wall, that the Northerners are actually out there to humiliate the Igbo race. And they have showed that in so many ways. How will the Igbo people stand when we are every day asking them to inculcate the Igbo man in the scheme of things, and they are shoving it in our face? Every day, Nigeria is like a military zone. The Igbo people are highly militarized. We can't even speak. Whatever you ask for, they say no. Whatever is given to the rest of Nigeria, the Igbo man will ask, they will say no. Why are they treating us as if we are non-existent in that country? So I want to make myself very clear, and I'm going to make a very short statement. I think the division of Nigeria is what I'll be looking for, rather than restructuring Nigeria, because it does not work for us. The same thing that was the partitioning that was done in India, out of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh was broken out. We need the same formula in Nigeria. Now, the Igbo man will have no place in the scheme of things in the current Nigeria, whether Nigeria is restructured or not, because the Northerner, the Hausa man, has made up his mind. I listened to an interview granted by the elder spokesman, Professor Ango Abdullahi, the other day, He is the chairman of Northern Elders Forum. He had made it clear. He also quoted exactly what Dr. Choma said, that we have differences. These are differences we cannot coexist. No matter what you do, we cannot coexist. So I believe that the solution, just like Dr. Chika said, let's be pragmatic. The solution that we need is for a Nigeria that will be broken into pieces so that everybody will go and harness what they have in their places. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much, Ifechukwu. Can we bring in Maazị Ikechukwu Njoku?
Ndewonu ụmụ Igbo, ana m ekene onye ọbụla, ife niile onye ọbụla kwuru o kwutesịrị ọfụma, mana mụnwa na-ebido nke m n'ime anyị nọ ebe a, maka a na-ekwu okwu Igbo ịdị mma, ọ ga-ebidogodo from anyị nwa. Ụmụnne m ndị anyị na ha nọ na studio taa kwuru okwu, webatakwa ofu ife na-ese okwu, and ife nwa na-ese okwu bụ anọdụ mmadụ a na-esi mmụọ mmụọ, and mmụọ mmụọ ha na-esi ọ bụ gịnị? Maka na anyị bụ ụdị mmadụ Chukwu kere bụ ife ọbụla anyị na-eme, anyị na-atụ onwe anyị mvọ iji were ma otu onye nke ọzọ ọ ga-adị onye nke ọzọ ma anyị tụọ ya mvọ. Mana isiokwu bụ na ndị anyị na-ene anya were eme ife anyị na-eme, fa na-enekwa ya anya, ha na-enwekwe mwute na ife nke anyị na-enwe ma anyị chọọ ime ha, ya bụrụ ife dị iche. N'ihe gbasara ọnọdụ anyị na obodo a na-akpọ Naijiria, dịka onye nke kwuru n'ikpetamazụ tupu orute m aka si kwuo, anyị niile n'ebe a mana Naijiria emego expire, o mebigo, o rego ure, anụ mgbe ọbụla ife rere ure, ife ọzọ nwere ike ịbịakwute ife mebiri emebi bụ ụmụ ahụhụ nke n'ọnụ nke anyị na-akpọ ya ndu, iji were ritọpụ nke fọrọ afọ. So ana m asị ụmụnne m, ife mbụ ụzọ anyị ga-eme bụ ijikọta onwe anyị ọnụ. Anyị fụrụ onwe anyị n'anya, mana nsogbu anyị nwere n'ime anyị chị ịgwa onwe anyị nke bụ eziokwu bụ na anyị nọdụ n'Igbo, anyị sụọ Igbo, anyị nọdụ n'Hausa, anyị sụọ n'Hausa, anyị nọdụ na oyibo, anyị sụọ oyibo. Maka na ife anyị na-eme ka anyị chee ndị ọzọ ka ha nụ, ha chọọ ịnụ, ha kpọọ anyị, jụọ anyị ife bụ mkpa anyị, gwa anyị onu ha chọrọ ka anyị sụọ, maka na anyị zụ ka eme. Mana mgbe ọbụla anyị nọ n'onu nke anyị, ka anyị sụọ n'onu nke anyị, maka na ife anyị ka anyị na-eme. Nya ana m asị ka anyị nwa bụ ndị Igbo, ndị anyị nwere na-afụ maka ana Igbo anyị, fa niile adago, fa niile so bụrụ nsogbu anyị nwere. Maka na nsogbu anyị bụkwa ife Amadu Bello kwuru. Ya bụrụ na ndị be anyị ga-amụta onye mee anyị ife anyị mekọrọ ya, anyị ka amago n'ọnọdụ anyị na obodo a na-akpọ Naijiria nke mebiri emebi. Mana nsogbu anyị bụ na anyị si Chukwu agaghị emere anyị ife niile. Chukwu agaghị emere anyị ife niile, ọ ife dịrị anyị nwa. Even ọ ga-aka mma onye mee anyị emekọrọ ya mgbe Chukwu ga-ekpe ya ekpe ha niile ofu mgbe. Nya ka m ghara igbu oge anyị, the best thing anyị eme bụ anyị wee nọrọ onwe anyị, and anyị nọrọ onwe anyị, anyị ekwesịghị ịjụ ndị ọzọ ka ha ga-eme. Ya bụ na anyị nọrọ onwe anyị, onye ọbụla chee uche dị ya, anyị na-eche nke anyị, ha na-eche nke ha. Ndewo.
ndewo Maazị Njoku. N'ịga n'iru, ọ dị ka Dr. Nwachukwu ịntanetị ya dịrọ mma ịbatakwa back, mana anyị ga-agaba n'iru. Ịchịkọta ihe onye ọbụla kwuru, ụfọdụ na-akọwa na idozigharị Naijiria dị mma, ụfọdụ si na Naijiria emebigo, na ọka mma na ndị Biafra nwere onwe ha. N'ajụjụ nke izizi a anyị jụrụ wee sị ka a ga-esi wee mee agamniru ndị Igbo na Nigerian politics. Na wee na-ajụ ajụjụ ọzọ na-asị, n'obi nke gị, ị chere sị na ihe a ndị Biafra IPOB na-eme mkpọtụ na mba ụwa niile, na-eti mkpu na ha chọrọ ka ha nwere onwe ha, ọkara gị mma, n'uche nke gị, ị chere na ọ bụ ihe ga-enyere anyị aka dịka ndị Igbo ma anyị nwee ike inweta the Republic of Biafra, ka ọ ga-aka mma na isoro ihe nwanne anyị nwoke Chika kwuru sị ka anyị restructure Nigeria? Ugogbuzuo, ka anyị bidokwa n'isi ka eguzigwa anyị, in your own opinion, what do you think about the Biafran agitation all over the world? Do you think that Biafra is the solution or restructured Nigeria?
Dalo Egbe. Ihe dị n'inweta ihe nwekwa so many ways and so many approaches that can work together to achieve a common aim. In my own mind, the different and various groups and the different and various agitations that are going forward, my IPOB, my SOB, my MODIN, all of them, the various groups, even the traditional groups like Ohanes, the WIC, all the Igbo, all the various Igbo groups agitating for one form or the other. They are all good and they are all acceptable approaches. I think in the scheme of things, in order to achieve a common thing, you need to follow. So for a complex problem, you have to follow it in so many complex ways. The important thing, I believe, is that once we know what is our common problem, and then we know what is our common objective, the various approaches, the ways to gain relevance, gain autonomy, gain that independence of opinion, and independence of thought process, and independence of the self-actualization, self-realization. But also that part around having the tools for negotiation. When you start negotiating, when you start lobbying, when you start engaging with others, then each of those will always form one way or the other to keep. So in my own way, I totally will tell you today, now as long as IPOB or MASCOM or any other group understands where we are going and is able to come on a round table to work with others, yes, it is great to have these various groups, each following their different ways. Because all these different ways, all these approaches, how do we utilize them to our benefit? The fight today, Scotland, today, the fight for independence for Scotland, the Scottish National Party Bidolu agitation for independence of Scotland started in 1934, long before the independence of Scotland. Independence of Nigeria. Long before independence in Nigeria. They've already started the agitation for Scotland. Today, they've not been able to get it. But what have they been able to achieve over these years? And these are some of the learning points we must have to look at. Some of these occasions and some of these nations who have also been in agitations, like for self-realization or for self-independence, for self-rule. What can we learn from them? How can we begin to tie that into what we are doing? The different groups are not our issue. It is, what is our big issue? Like is, can all these groups be able to understand what our problems are? And then what our single objective is to solve those problems. So if you ask me, that would be my answer to that.
All right. Dr. Chioma, what's your own opinion? Do you think the realization of Biafra is the solution, or restructuring Nigeria will be a solution to the Igbo politics in Nigeria?
You're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay, thank you, Ebweji Wagu. I don't know the answer from Ugobuzu. Is it a yes or a no?
Restructuring Nigeria cover the Biafra of a solution.
Back to where I had started. My position had always been, unless you understand what our problem is, both my independence, my restructuring, my whichever form we are agitating for, not help us.
We know what our problem is.
And so our problem,
we know what our problem is.
Huh?
So, Ugobuzu, in Akowano, na ihe jụrụ gị bụ ọkamma na follow Biafra agitation where Republic of Biafra for the Igbos, because ihe nọ na mgbede a na-akpa bụ kedu the way forward for ndị Igbo? Kedu ihe
the way forward for ndị Igbo? The way forward for ndị Igbo abụghị fighting for independence or fighting for restructuring. It's actually fighting to understand what is our Igbo question, what is our Igbo problem, what is our Igbo identity, what is Gini Jikola Igbo ndị Igbo? What is it?
I don't agree with you.
That is our problem, because let me tell you, Southern Sudan have gained independence from Sudan. Are they better off?
No.
Today.
We are not like them.
No. Why are we not like that? Why do you think
we are not like them?
That?
Because
Ugobuzu, okay, I bring a Chioma. Can you make Chioma to say? Ugobuzu actually is ajụjụ straightforward.
Okay.
How about Ethiopia and Eritrea?
Okay, okay, anyway, let me get.
Can you Chioma wanted to say? If you can you go to Chioma first?
Okay, so I deliberately wanted, because this is a very sensitive issue for some people. So I wanted to know exactly where we stand. I think the question is not, it does not have a simple yes or no answer, to be honest. But it may be useful, no matter how we look at it, right? It may be useful to learn from the experiences of some secessionist movements, and then take their experiences on board and then move forward. Now, if we look at the indigenous people of Biafra and the movement for actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, Muso, their intentions are quite clear and genuine. I don't see anything wrong in self-actualization or self-determination. But what I continue to ask myself is this: from previous experience, because I'm a researcher, that is what I do for a living, very few secessionist campaigns have actually resulted in ultimate success. Now, if we look at the small secessionist agitation movement that has resulted in success, the ones that come to mind would be, like somebody said, Bangladesh from Pakistan in 1971. We look at Kosovo from Serbia in 2008. Then we look at Eritrea from Ethiopia in 1991. Then South Sudan, very recently, from Sudan in 2011. And East Timor, and these are very
Republic of Ireland.
Republic of Ireland. So
Ireland, yeah.
Okay, so these are the countries that come to mind. But the problem, right? The problem is that most of these countries have not performed so fantastically well like they thought they would have done when they started this idealistic objective of seceding. Now, let me be very clear. I am, as only Igbo, as Nwadi Igbo, I don't need to be a member of IPOB or MUSO to be an Igbo. By virtue of the fact that I'm born an Igbo, I'm already a Biafran. So nobody is more Biafran than any other person. So let me make that clear, so that we understand that the issue we are discussing is not about our Biafranness, because that is who we are. But the issue we are discussing as people with intelligence, because that's what Igbos are, right, is for us to try to produce superior arguments that will lead us forward. My answer to the issue of agitation of Biafra will be a resounding no. I don't think anyone from Nigeria will achieve anything. We have problems in the way we recruit our leaders and followership. These are our two main key problems, apart from the fact that other ethnic groups in Nigeria don't like us. They are afraid of us because of our intellectual prowess, because of our business acumen, and other things that God has endowed us with. And I believe that if we, as a nation, Igbo nation, Ndibo, if we channel this agitation, right, if we channel them properly, we will make a success of ourselves. Now, most of the countries I called, they did not get their independence by their military or political capacity, because none of them would have withstood the state from which they intended to secede from. We see Catalonia. You can't. We don't even have that kind of military capacity to withstand the Nigeria state. Now, I believe that the Igbos would likely have a more viable economic and political future as an autonomous state in a federated or devolved Nigeria. That is my honest opinion. Just like Scotland, the agitation should be channeled towards our political leaders. We need to recruit leaders who are selfless. We need to recruit leaders who have vision. The dream of Biafra can only, that's Republic of Biafra, can only be realized if we transform our region into a 21st century economic success like Singapore. We have leaders in Igbo land. Go to Igbo, go to Eastern Nigeria. You will cry. You will cry for your nation. I think if all these agitations are channeled towards these guys, these political elites, the people we recruit, the people we vote into power, whether by rigging or by winning election, that is when we will be in a better position to now negotiate with the Nigerian state. Imagine where you come to Anambra and it's looking like a Singapore. Just one example I want to give very briefly is this Dr. Godwin Umadoka, who has demonstrated that it is possible to transform a little obscure farming village of Umuchukwu with his personal resources into a mini Dubai. Let's do this kind of thing. Look at Kurdistan. It is a nation within Iraq. There's a war in Iran, but go to Kurdistan region and see what they are doing there. Only when we have been able to transform our region That is when Nigeria and the international community will listen to us. Not when you don't have motorable roads in Anambra or Enugu. You don't have electricity. Meanwhile, these guys are giving their own federal allocation. You don't have a lot of things. Let's channel our agitation to these leaders and hold them accountable to deliver on their mandates. That is the only time the Biafran dream can be a reality without fighting. I tell you the truth. Because when they look at your region as a 21st century economic success, Nigeria state would be forced to negotiate with you. You become the bride that everybody wants to court. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chioma. I think somebody like Phil, who I know as an IPOB member, now you'll be boiling from what you had from Chioma.
I'm really boiling.
Can I bring up Phil, please, Chika and
come on, Phil. Let's hear you.
Phil, let's hear from Phil.
So first of all, you said that we should go and that when we start developing our places, that the Nigerian government will come and negotiate with us. I will tell you one thing. How would they negotiate with us? Do you know that as of today, you can't fly. There is no international flights to anywhere in Biafra land. Do you know there are many ports around the east of Nigeria, the Igbo area, one in Calabar, one in Warri, one in Port Harcourt? None of them can take any vessel in from London to those places. If you import anything, good.
Why?
The reason is because the federal government have refused to develop them.
That is not true.
No, but why should we wait? Okay, land.
That is not true, Phil, and that is the question. So Chioma captured those questions very succinctly. Adakidia, you captured them very succintly, and that is where I was going.
Phil bring up his own point.
Let's take notes. We'll address Phil's question. Let's take notes. Phil, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, Phil, just take notes on the questions. Phil, continue, please.
Yeah. First of all, you mentioned that Scotland started asking for independence in the 1930s and up to now they've not got it. But the United Kingdom government gave them a referendum. We are asking for a referendum. Let them give us a referendum and let's lose, and then we'll go back into Nigeria. That is one. Two, all the federal roads. I remember when an Anambra State governor tried to do the federal road. He was being sued by the federal government. Why are you doing that road? It's a federal road. There are a lot of things that are in the hands of the federal government that up today, all the key ministerial positions are in the hands of the Northerners. Every single police DPO in Igbo land is an Hausa man. Even in your village, you go Ugoguzo, an Hausa man is the police commissioner there or DPO. We are being heavily militarized. If you do anything today, okay, Obiano is building an airport that is going to be the same class as an international airport. Let's see what will happen. How about the airport that was supposed to be built in Oba up to today? Has it seen the daylight? I cannot fly. Now I can fly to Port Harcourt, limited airport. But during the COVID, they shut down Port Harcourt airport. You can only go to Abuja or Lagos. You go to Lagos, you sleep over there, you do everything there. Our Igbo people were given license. What is happening to the Ibeto? Can they bring in cement again? No. Why? They want only Dangote, a Northerner, an Hausa man to take control. We want to develop our place, but they are not even giving us the opportunity to develop our place, because even right now, whatever you want to do in Nigeria, you have to go through the hand of the Northerner. If he doesn't like the idea, if he feels that that thing you're going to do will enable you to develop so you can ask for this independent, they will crush it. That is what they are systematically doing. The question I'll ask you, Dr. Chioma, is if something is bothering, if something is in your house and that thing is not of a value to you and that thing want to go, will you not quickly kick it away? Will you not quickly kick it away? Now the Igbo people are saying, let us go. If Nigerian government, if Nigeria believe that the Igbo man is of no value to them, they should be happy to let us go. They should be happy to let us go. That is the thing. They should be happy to let us go. Nigeria is not good for us. The Igbo man is seen like they know we can develop our place. Let us go. Let us go and die, and let them say, "Oh, we told you." Go to Ethiopia today. You will not believe what Ethiopia is.
Thank you very much.
I want to count a lot of things. What happened to our engagement? We engaged Nigeria in Aburi. What happened out of it? They came back from Aburi and cancelled it. All the service chiefs in Nigeria today, including the Inspector General of Police, all the key positions are in the military and the north. Is that the way? Which presidency in Nigeria ran Nigeria the way the Northerners are running it? Look at in my village now, the Fulani has a settlement. All of you in your local village, there's a Fulani settlement. They will not rent houses to live. They will come and stay in our farms. They'll come and stay in our bushes.
Stop. Can we move on, please?
Because Phil, I'm going to go. Can we hear from Barrister Chika before Chioma will answer that question?
Answer some questions. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I'm laughing because the gentleman encapsulates the typical argument that is put forward by members of IPOB, and it's very, very typical. And with profound respect to the gentleman, some of these arguments are really shallow. I do not intend to be disrespectful, but I'm going to show in a minute why some of these arguments are a little bit shallow. Let me first of all say that, Chioma, I completely agree with your idea of the things you said, but let me
Chika, the gentleman you're talking about, Chief Ifechukwu Phil.
Phil,
no gentleman. Just okay. Phil.
Okay, Phil, with profound respect, I do not mean to be disrespectful, but one of the problems is that in a public discourse, if you're not sure of the name, don't say the name, because if you get it wrong, it's worse than saying gentleman. So that's just the reason.
All right, that's why I reminded you his name.
Don't feel disrespected, okay? But the point is, let me build on Dr. Sherman said, and I'm glad actually that somebody actually believes in what I believe, because sometimes I think it's only myself. Let me build on what Sherman said. Now, we need to look at what is the reason why do we want Biafra? This is a question I usually pose to people. Why do we want Biafra? Now, there are disparate reasons. For some of them are what the gentleman, oh, sorry, let me say gentleman, please forgive me. What the gentleman, what he had just enumerated now. But when you actually articulate and categorize these things, they come on to about three headings: marginalization, Islamization, killing of our people. Those are the three heads they usually come to. You can say airport was not built, marginalization; seaport, marginalization; Hausa people being appointed, marginalization. So they all come to three headings: marginalization, Islamization, and killing of our people. Now, the reason why those of us who believe in restructuring is that the reason why we want Biafra could be dealt with restructuring. However, allowing Igbos, look, as of today, there are 11.4 million Igbos and counting in the north, right? They have businesses there. The whole idea of restructuring is that we will be able to deal with marginalization because we're going to have physical federalism, which is the ability for us to use the resources in our own place. One of our colleagues here now mentioned using our own, go to our place to use our resources. Now, restructuring is going to give you that. Excuse me, one moment.
Just before you continue, what is Aburi?
Can I just make my points and you can come with the Aburi later, please, if you don't mind. Now, restructuring is going to give us deal with marginalization, deal with killing of our people, deal with all the numerous things that these people are saying, that people who advocate for Biafra are saying. However, it gives the Igbos, like I say, there are over 5 million Igbos living in Lagos. There are about 11.4 million Igbos living in the north. Everywhere you go to in Nigeria today, our economy is larger than our landmass. And unless you are telling me, because when you talk about this marginalization, restructuring will deal with that, because we're going to be using our resources. Killing of our people, when you look at it, are you telling me that the moment you have Biafra, you have a piece of passport which says, I'm a Biafran. Therefore, if you are doing business in the north, they are not going to kill you if there's a riot. Is that what the suggestion is? That that particular passport you have, excuse me, can you, sorry, I'm being distracted. This happens on television all the time. Now, are you saying that with that passport, a piece of passport, now immediately you are in the north doing your business, that passport that says Biafra means that the Hausa man who wants to kill you will no longer kill you? Now, that is false if anybody is maintaining that position, right? And then our people there will now begin to fulfill the ECOWAS protocols. And we can see what is happening to our people in Ghana as of today. If you look at the I think it's article, if I'm wrong, please, I need to be corrected. I think it's article 27 of the ECOWAS protocols, which enables the movement of goods, which enables the movement of goods, people, and services. You see that the way it is framed is that each country, despite the fact that you are allowed to go and live there, each country has a way of making laws and regulations which regulate their internal market. So what this means is that every Igbo man living in Lagos, in Kano, in Kaduna, Abuja, wherever it may be, will now have to fulfill those protocols. And if you look at what is happening to our people in Ghana today, you can imagine what will happen to our people who will be living in the north. Now, unless this idea of Biafra is that once you have it, then every single Igbo man will have to come back to the east. Well, I don't think that is the position which those who are clamoring for Biafra. So that is one of the reasons why those of us who are looking for, those who are looking for Nigeria to be restructured, feel that the best, sorry, gentlemen, I'm being distracted. Excuse me, can you? That is why we feel that the best option for Igbos is to have a restructured Nigeria, which will deal with all the problems. Because if you look at the constitution on the federal legislative list and the concurrent legislative list and the residuary list, you see that all ports is in the exclusive federal legislative list. Federal roads, all the things that those who want Biafra, they are all there. But when you have restructuring, most of those items, including state police, ports, motorways, airport and seaport, all of that will now come out from the federal legislative list. And then our people in our own enclave will be able to regulate and manage our resources in order to deal with those things, but enabling our people not to be fulfilling ECOWAS protocols. Look, I'm a lawyer, and I'm a lawyer, I'm a barrister, and by the way, my barrister is not here in United Kingdom for emphasis. I should have said that earlier on. I'm a barrister in Nigeria, but in this country, I'm a lawyer. That's really very important. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble if you say you're a barrister in UK when you are not. Now, so we feel that all those things there could be taken out and be dealt with once we have restructuring. And that is the reason why we are saying that restructuring is the best option for our people on the basis of who Igbos are. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was born in Zungeru, which is Niger State. That's about 120 something years ago. Igbos have been killed in the north before, in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and 80s, and all that. So anybody who is telling me that the moment you have Biafra, Igbos will all of a sudden all come back to the east and stay in that small enclave where the most densely populated place, I think in Africa also, that Igbos are going to come there to come and live. I think that is false. That is not true. That's my contribution for now. Sorry, gentlemen and lady, I'm being distracted by my daughter.
Please, can I come in? Can I come in a little bit, please?
And let's hear you.
Can I come in a little bit?
Yeah, Mazi, come
in. You see, I'm surprised that things are going the way it shouldn't go. We are all Biafrans. We are Biafrans. And like Barrister Chika that has just spoken, he asks our brother, if Biafra is given, does it mean that all Igbos will come back to Igbo land? And I will answer you, no. But then we will have our pride with us. Having Biafra doesn't mean that we will not be killed anywhere, but we will be killed either mistakenly and not, I want to kill, and you go and kill an Igbo man because no one will speak for him. We are Biafrans. And like so many things that was mentioned by our sister, I'll just keep that for now. But one thing I want to answer now, or ask you, Barrister Chika, just like you said, does it mean that if Biafra is given, or if we achieve Biafra today, does it mean that Igbos will not be killed, or things will change? Igbos will not be killed the way we are being killed now. We will not be marginalized the way we are being marginalized now. Our airports, seaports, roads, everything about us will come into fulfillment and it will start to work. I will stop there for now till it is my turn.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think at this junction, we have to do some little commercial for the people that sponsor this our program. We should bring in some adverts before we continue. Chioma and Kobuzo, I could see you, you're being directed, some questions have been directed to you. So I think you should answer those questions when we come back from commercial. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Amcom Kitchen.
Oh, this is a lovely bar.
No, as you can see, we've got wine, we've got beers, we've got spirits, we've literally got everything you'd like to have that makes you remember home. We've got like all the African beers and spirits and stuff, so you can definitely try this out.
Hi, welcome. This is where the magic happens. Hello.
Hi everyone. So what are we making here?
Oh, I'm making fried rice.
Oh, this is literally lovely.
Yeah,
oh, it's got prawns too.
Oh, it's got
I can't
prawns.
wait to try this. This
Yeah.
is lovely.
This is Sapocom fried rice.
So what do we have here?
Oh, this is Nkwobi.
Looks so lovely. So what does this comprise of?
This is made of cow food. It's really good. It's yummy. I'm making this for the customer.
Here is the after effect of the grilled fish.
Yeah.
It looks very luscious.
And the sauce.
Ooh la la! Now this is what you call real magic. Look at the beauty of that fish. I mean, I would advise you to buy it because now it's mouth-watering. This is very lovely. Very, very lovely. So, hey guys, this is where the magic happens. Come and grab your fresh portion of fried rice with prawns and turkey or chicken. Trust me, you won't regret.
All right.
Are you concerned about your tax? Have you been missing deadlines? BB Accounting Solutions is a group of reliable, certified, licensed and experienced accountants based in Glasgow and working all over the UK. We are here to help with your accounts preparation, taxation, VAT returns, payroll bureau, pension, startups, charity accounts, independent charity auditing. Why not give us a call today for stress-free accounting services you deserve on 0141 258 2556 or visit our website bbaccounting.co.uk.
Yeah, ndewo nu ebe anyị. Anyị echigatago ka anyị ga-arecha ngwa ahịa anyị. A na-akpọlite Dr. Chioma. Biko, ka anyị na-ekwu kịta, anyị na-anya na time. Onye ọbụla ga na-ekwu 3 minutes, please. 3 minutes, 3 minutes, ka anyị nwee ike round up maka ihe anyị nwere ịkpanụ ehika. And anyị ga-akwụsị nzukọ anyị n'ụwa na ọ were 20 minutes past 5. Biko ka anyị gbuo ya na ịchafụ. Onye ọbụla amarago isiokwu anyị kịta. Onye ọbụla nwee ike iwepụta atụmatụ nke ya otu oge si wee mee ka Igbo na-aga n'iru na Nigerian politics. Dr. Chioma, what do you have to say?
Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to answer some of Phil's questions. And that is the beauty of having this sort of discussion. It's not to, like I said, we are all Biafrans. We don't need a register to become a Biafran. Once you are born an Igbo person, you are Biafran, right? And having said that, you asked a question, and you mentioned the international airports and the federal roads and all that. And this is why for me, I think channeling the Biafran agitation, the sovereign state of Biafra, because we have to make this clear distinction. Biafra is Biafra, just like you have Oduduwa and Arewa. But the issue, the agitation is for the sovereign state of the Republic of Biafra. So we want a state. Now, instead of channeling the agitation to secure a state, like is being currently done, which in any event, the odds of us succeeding is very low. It is very low. All the secessionist movements we have seen in the past were succeeded as a result of external intervention or a weakened parent state. Now, the Abori Accord, if I remember correctly, had 3 agendas, which would include reorganization of the armed forces, constitutional arrangement, the issues of displaced persons within My phone is actually off.
Okay. Because I'm not a room phone on mute. All right, Chema, continue, please.
All right, thank you. So the Abori Accord, like he mentioned, had 3 agendas, or agendas, as the case may be. None of these were actually tailored to devolution, right? And it's again, I guess, because of the context of the debate at that time. Now, what I think would work is if we channel our energy, if we channel our agitation to holding our elected political leaders accountable, then it may solve some of the problems or challenges we are facing at the moment. I believe, and I want to repeat it again, that the Igbo nation, Ndi Igbo, is likely to have, because of our nature, because of our industriousness, and because of the way we are built, the way we are, our innate capabilities, we are able to achieve a viable economic future for ourselves, for our nation, for our region, in an autonomous state, in a federated Nigeria. Now, what this simply means is that as a devolved territory, all those concurrent and presidential and legislative lists powers will be given to us. So we can then make a decision on whether we want to build our international airports, whether we want to open our seaports and all that. What I can see now is that in the East, even the ones that are given to our political leaders, they don't do them. Go to Onitsha, go to so many of these places, you will be shocked. The only state for now which seems to be working is Ebonyi State. And if an individual can show that it's possible to transform a tiny farming village into what it is today, I think we have hope if we channel all this energy to asking for a devolution. And I think if that becomes our collective devolving Nigeria and giving more powers to these regions, and then enlightening our citizens, fellowship is very important, fellowship, enlightening our citizens on how to hold these guys accountable. If Nnamdi Kanu and all his cohorts and the things he is doing, if they were using this energy, this passion to holding the Anambra state government, Imo state governor, what's it called, Enugu state governor, accountable to delivering their mandate, I don't think we will be in the position we are today. I think we would have weakened the Nigerian state to a point where they are taking us serious. There are things that are left for us to do in the legislative list. There are things that we don't need the federal government to ask them. Okay, I give you an example of how where I have seen this has worked. If we continue as migrants living in Scotland or any part of the world, if we had continued to lament that, oh, we are being marginalized, there's racism, there's this, nobody will listen to you. I say to people that excellence is colorblind. Go and develop yourself, develop your muscle, you will attract their attention. It works. But if we had decided to choose the path of violence, like they are hijacking Black Lives Matters, people will look at you and call you an anarchist. Who wants to shed the blood of people? How do you know how many people we lost in Ojukwu's civil war? Is that what we want to start in this 21st century? We lost between 1.5 to 2.1 million people. We lost a lot of our political elites. A lot of our young people died because of the war. Is that what we want to do in the 21st century, Nigeria? Develop yourself as a nation, the way we have developed ourselves individually. And racism is no longer an issue to so many of us, because I know that excellence is colorblind. I'll rest my case and allow others to make their contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chioma. Ugobuzu, what do you have to contribute here?
Yeah, so I think my initial submission is now coming here. Now, let me make it very clear what my positions are. I believe now until nwoke etoruo pụọ ama pụọ bie biri n'ụlọ obi nke ya ọ zabeghị nwoke ọ ka isi eme n'Igbo. So the ultimate position of every man, every nation is self-independence, self-actualization, self-realization. I totally agree with that. That is my position. Is the Igbos ready for that today? No. Is that the way for the Igbos today? No. That also is my position. And I will tell you why. And in doing that, I will try and answer the pockets and pieces of the questions and comments on that. I also do not believe that unless we are using the self-actualization and independence and even restructuring as a means for negotiation today, I can also tell you that we are not even ready for a full-blown Republican restructured state. And this is back to what Chioma had said. Because as Igbos, we have 1,000 naira. Yeah, if you cannot manage the little you were given, there is no way you can manage because those problems will still reoccur. The problems we have today, and I will tell you, yes, a core Igbo man had not been the president of Nigeria, but Biafran had been the president of Nigeria. What has happened? Biafra, South to Sona Biafra. Within that period, what have we done? What have we been able to achieve? What changes have we been able to make to the Igbo nation? as it is, or to the southeast and south-south.
I will tell you. Jonathan appointed Ihejirika as
and that appointment, what changes?
And he put a lot of Igbo youths in the military.
Is that what?
Yeah,
how,
it,
where
it
has
is.
that developed?
It is.
Where has
it
okay
is.
after that?
It
after
is.
that,
I'll tell you.
Where has that?
I just gave you one.
No, that's the point. This is
he
where
didn't have the time. I just gave you one. I just told you one thing that he did.
So Phil, this is the mistake we are making.
He appointed Ihejirika.
This is not development that he appointed.
And I know how many people, how many youths Ihejirika put in the army.
So that is not development. Because
who said so? They are militarizing us.
How does it?
Why are they able to militarize us? Because they have
those people that were put in the army. Where are they today? Why have they not? Why have they not stopped the militarization you're talking about?
No, he was stopped. His agenda was stopped.
No, anyway, so I think the point. I think the point is that until we are able to develop our region, listen, political powers are not given. It is taken. And you can only take if you have power. You only open like kage. The power plays in every power play.
Is that what you're saying?
Listen, let me make my point. Power play that you hold power is because you can negotiate, or that there is something you have others want. If there is nothing you have to negotiate, you don't have power. That is power. If you cannot negotiate, if you cannot tell somebody, if you give me this and I give you that, that's the power of political lobbying. Today, let me tell you one thing. And this is what Yoma says about let us be looking at nations and where they are.
One question is what is it that we have that they don't want to let go? Why do you want me when I don't have anything?
Can I
answer the question?
Moderator, can you moderate, please?
Nations are acquired. Power. Political power are acquired. So
can you allow Gomuzo to finish, please?
Okay. Let us the arrows, because my mom is arrow. But why is she arrow? Because the arrows left arrow Chuku and came and tell me my room baboon kahabia. That is power. That is politics. You always grab power where there is. It is only when you can negotiate or when you have something to offer or to lobby that you have that political might to actually be able to negotiate. We don't have that today because of our inner failures. We don't have that today because we cannot negotiate. Our leaders in Igbo land have failed us. And the problem is because we have lost our might to challenge our leaders. And that is not how we are going to go forward. If we are able to develop our regions, nothing stops us from lobbying. So, Scotland has the even lower number of people in the Westminster Parliament than the Southeast has in Nigerian Parliament today. But they are still able to lobby to gain some things. They have been able to get some things because there are things they have created and they are able to hold power and they can negotiate. And they can make demand.
Scotland is a country.
Can someone else comment, please?
So I think that is where we need to go. Develop ourselves, be able to create ourselves in a position that we have a negotiating power in that common nation we are today.
Ugo Buzo, thank you very much. Biko, asim no gadroz. Ka anyị na-egbu na nke onye mee ka point nke ya ọ cherekwala ka nwanne ya kwuo maka na ọ bụrụ agha ka anyị bịara ịnụ ebe a ihe anyị bịara bụ ka anyị kpaa ụbụbọ otu ndị Igbo ga-esi wee gaa n'iru ihe ganyere ndị Igbo aka ka ha gaa n'iru na Nigerian politics. So mmadụ dịka Chika, Barrister Chika Michael, kedu ihe ị nwere itinye n'okwu a kịta?
Okay, in what respect? Please, what? Because
on the same respect, I can Biafra agitation.
Oh,
is it the solution?
Biafra agitation. I completely agree with Dr. Chioma. The question I want to throw up a little bit of dust here, which I'm sure is going to steer the nest of my brother Phil. If we stand on the standpoint that all of us are Igbos, no person, whether you are IPOB or you don't support IPOB or Hanese, we are all Igbos, first and foremost. Once you are born Igbo man or woman, you are Igbo. So if that is the standpoint, the question becomes, which, like the earlier question, which was asked, what is the best for Igbos in Nigeria? I think that's what we are discussing. Now, let me progress that conversation to, is it really possible for IPOB to achieve, because remember I said I agree with Dr. Sherma on this completely. Is it really possible for IPOB in the manner in which the modus operandi in which they are using today to achieve Biafra? The simple answer is no, and I'll give you reasons why. There is no, but I put in 300 pounds on the table, and I'm still maintaining that. There is nowhere in the last 100 years, you can even go 200 years back to help people, where a group, a person, or whatever it is, has achieved independence without engaging the national government. You must engage the national government. If there is no platform to engage the national government, you cannot achieve independence. That is something that is really absolutely clear. So IPOB, before I continue, let me say that I'm not against Biafra in principle. My contention is that the best thing for us is to be part of the larger constituent of Nigeria, simply because the economy of Igbos are larger. I've said it before, but I'm repeating it again. It's larger than our landmass. Now, if I may progress with talking of IPOB, whether they will be able to gain independence, they will not. And the simple reason is because there's no platform to engage the national government. You must have a platform. You possibly have a group that is protesting, bringing attention to the issue, but you must have a political platform on which to negotiate with the central government. And let me also say that there is no place in the Nigerian constitution where you have referendum. It's not there. Now, with respect to the self-determination, which everybody talks about, now, self-determination, you can invoke the articles as they are in African Union. That everybody knows that. You can invoke them as they are in UN Charter. But the question is that you need legislation. You need legislation in the national government in order to bring a referendum. A referendum cannot just happen unless you want to do it illegally rather, unless you want to do it. And you're not even in government. If you are in any part of government, either in Anambra, Imo, Abia, the core 5 Igbo states, let's forget about the map that was circulating some time ago of including Ogoja, Benue, and all that. Let's be more realistic. The 5 core Igbo states. Now, you're not in government, right? And if a legislation is going to happen, it's not even going to be in state government. It's got to be at the federal government level. So if you don't have a platform, if you are not in government, if there is no way you can dialogue or negotiate with the central government, how are you going to achieve independence? It's impossible to do. So that's why I'm saying that the modus which IPOD is using at the moment is not going to be successful. And if I may go further from this, if you look at the other way to do it, which is restructuring, which Dr. Choma calls devolution, which is actually what it is, but we prefer to use the word restructuring. If you look at it and you ask yourself, is that possible? Because that's the question most people always ask me. Okay, if you say independence is not possible, is restructuring possible? My answer has always been, yes, it is. It is possible because there are people on the table negotiating with the central government. And if you look at Nigeria today, you can see PANDEF, Afenifere, Ohaneze, even IPOB, I can include IPOB on that. Almost everybody in Nigeria, apart from those core northern states, and there are about 10 of them. I don't want to list them now, it's unnecessary. But if you look at the number of the legislators they have, this is one mistake a lot of people make. They actually have, I think, about 134. Don't quote me on that number, but it's within that range. I think 134.
They have the highest, so you can never pass anything in the Senate.
No. Excuse me, sir. We are talking about core northern states. I can give you the list. I have the list. Do you want me to give you the list?
No, I have the number of. You can never pass anything in Nigerian Senate because they have the majority.
It's not necessary, but I have them here. If you want me to read it out, I read it out.
No, they have the majority in Nigerian Senate. You can never win any votes.
No, they don't have the majority. Let me tell you why they don't have the majority. Can I tell you why they don't have majority?
Phil, can you please hold on? Let's hear Chika. And Chika, please be mindful of the time.
Yes,
because I have a little question for you, Chioma and Ugobuzo.
If you look at the core northern states that do not want restructuring, because their idea is that restructuring is always about the principle of derivation, which is the resources that is coming from the south, the south and the southeast, right? Now, if you look at those states, there are just about 10 of them, and the number of legislators they have, I think, is about 134. Now, what I'm saying is that if you look at the people who are talking about who want restructuring, they have more legislators and they have more senators. And if you look at the last voting in 2017, you'll see that all the 33 items in that list were not actually, and it has nothing to do with derivation principle. The question becomes, why did we lose that voting? The simple reason, the ulterior motive in my mind is because of the emoluments and the salaries that these people get, because that voting has nothing to do with sharing of resources. And that vote was lost in the Senate by just one vote. So what we are saying, and if you listen to Lawan, who is now the Senate president, his comment then was that, look, the people who sponsored this bill did not negotiate well. This was what he said, and he's the current PC chairman of the Senate now. So my contention is that, is restructuring possible? The answer is yes. Is getting independence, which one, is it possible? Is a very, very long shot. I think restructuring is the best way to enable our people, if I may bring back my original argument, I know you have your time, to enable our people to continue to live and trade in the Federal Republic of Nigeria without the mandate of fulfilling the ECOWAS protocols, which they're not. By the way, the only route to our place will be through the River Niger, which will cross into Nigeria, right? It will cross into Nigeria, because for you to get into the sea, for the seaport we talk about, it has to pass through Nigeria. So the idea that they respect us and all that, excuse me, if they want to block you, you'll be blocked. There are a lot of, and we're not even talking about, excuse me, sir, we're not even talking about currency issues. We're not even talking about maintaining of the armed forces, what we call the instruments of state power, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. The cost of running those things is an entirely different. Let me let somebody else come in.
Chika, please, can we, thank you very much, Barrister Chika. Can we bring in Mazi Ikechukwu? Let's hear what he has to say about this. Then I should say that's my last question.
Thank you, moderator. Please, I think this discussion is interesting. Well, before I will go into maybe saying some things, I will say the best thing that we have to do, or we need to do, or that is necessary for the Igbos to know whom they are, is by the actualization of our sovereign state, that is Biafra. We all are Biafrans. Like our sister said, Onyobunamu in Igbo land is a Biafran. There is no doubt about it. But when we listen to what our brother said,
Chika.
not Chika, no mention there. They are just facts. And these are the things that when you look at them, you will ask yourself, where am I from? Because we don't have seaports, we don't have airports, we don't have road. Anything that belongs to, after the war, all Biafrans was given 20 pounds, no matter how much you have in the bank. 20 pounds. Today, where are we? Who are the most traveled in Nigeria? Is we. Why? Because we are industrious. We want to make a living. We know ourselves and we know what we can do. We know that we are capable of doing anything. if Biafra is given, if we are given the opportunity to run our own country today, give us question is just question of maybe 10 to 15 years. Biafra will become a tourist center. Like our brother Chimezie mentioned about Scotland. Scotland successfully gave themselves to the British before anything. So they can't force themselves out from Britain, because it's like me coming to you and asking you whether me for Masregi. Before I'm going one na it must take time. So
and they have given them the opportunity to even go. They've given them the opportunity, sir.
No, they gave them the opportunity to go, but at the same time, there is a kind of maneuver which we know about it.
Yeah.
Now the power comes in. So, but I don't know why, like our sister was mentioning, 1.something million people was killed during the war. Definitely someone will die if there is war. But then I have never seen where when you ask for your freedom, it's just like when you were growing in your family. At a stage, I know you will tell your mom, look, mom, I have grown. I think I can take some decisions by myself. And your mom must definitely grant you that opportunity to live as a big young girl. So I don't see why it must be war. Believe me, I up to tomorrow when people talk about do you want us to go into war again? I begin to ask myself, but how? Tell me why it has to become a war. So the best thing we should be talking of is, like Barrister Chika said, we don't have those that will speak for us. Nnamdi Kanu is doing one of the best things any person that has the interest of his people can do. Because before you can't mention Biafra with your mouth, but now you can. Now, for these people that we are talking about to go and speak for us, they are afraid of losing their powers, because they know that once Biafra comes, we are not going to elect them and we are not going to use them for anything, because already we will really encourage the youths to sit up and do what is really important or needful for a country to grow up. Now they are afraid of supporting what the IPOB or MASOP or those that are fighting for the Biafran cause are doing, because they don't want to lose their power. Whom will you approach? Is it the governors? Now you talk about the Imo State governor. Because when you look at things, you understand that it's not all about do we have them. We have them, but their interest is more than what we think about. Jonathan gave up seat to Buhari because Buhari threatened blood flow in the streets of Nigeria. But Jonathan deemed it necessary and very, very important that the seat is not more important than any blood that will be wasted in Nigeria. And he gave up that seat. This is how a reasonable person should think of or do something. So, my brothers, the best solution, the best thing we can think of, I am still telling you, every one of us here, to support the fight of this Biafra. We cannot. Nigeria don't like us. And you can never be friend with your enemy, no matter what you do. Ndị Igbo na-atụ n'inu si onye ọbụla nwere ụkwụ nrụ enweghị ihe ị ga-emere ya ka ọ lawa ghara ịbọrọ gị ike. You can never please them. You can never please your enemy, because that jealousness is there. Because anywhere you are, you must show we don't hide our identities. It is a gift given to us, not by a human being. So anywhere you go, as far as you are an Igbo person, step into, no matter how difficult or hard that place might be, you must make your way. So we should stop thinking that we can do something to make people that never liked you, that are ready. Imagine starving people, starving children, women during the war. And these are people that you are thinking of renegotiating and making them your friend. They will poison you and kill you more. So please, the best thing is we coming together under one umbrella. If there is anywhere Nnamdi Kanu is missing it, we can call his attention and tell him this is the way we go in order to actualize what we want as Biafrans. And we allow our flag to stand because that is the only thing that can save us from that Nigeria, which we believe that is the best thing. Nigeria has expired. And after all, the international law says the amalgamation said after 100 years, if we can find our fate there, that we have the right to go. Why are they still holding us? And what are we doing there up to today? If you don't like someone, like our brother said, you don't like him. When he said he wants to go, you should kick him out from your place. Why can't Nigeria kick us out? You don't like us, but you still retain us and still.
Biko, can I ask a question? Can I ask
Ogobuzo, biko n'oge adịrọzikwanụ ịnụgo ihe Ikechukwu Maazị Ikechukwu kwuru n'oge Phil o kwere nka nghọta kịta na Phil na Ikechukwu nọ in support ka enwe IPOB ka IPOB nwee relation of Biafra na according to Ikechukwu na Nigeria emebigo na nwerozi ndozite. So ajụjụ m nkịta m chọrọ ka m jụọ Ugobuzo, ọ bụrụ na inwe ike isi na ajụjụ m a wee kụzie ihe ị chọrọ ikwunu, ọ ga-aka mma. Don't you think that pressure groups like the IPOB, and I can understand now that there's another pressure group coming up, they call themselves the Oduduwas. The Oduduwa wants to secede. They want to have the Republic of Oduduwa now in Nigeria. If Oduduwa is coming up, the IPOB is coming up, don't you think it should be a very big pressure for the government and all these groups will have a better settlement from the government?
So, Ebwe, if you remember when I talked about the pressure groups and the groups, I had said now we require all of them doing what they are doing. But if we don't have a focus, then it can also be counterproductive. It is really about having a common focus and common objective, common ideology, where we want to get to, knowing where we are, where we want to get to. Yes, the pressure groups are required, but they are also required because you have a common cause or a common issue you want to achieve. That's why you need a pressure group. And from different formats, all of them are good. And my question, or my point, and what I had wanted to say to Ikechukwu, Mazi Ikechukwu and Chief Chira also is, onweghị magic within Biafra. If we get it today, assuming we get it today, I will now make IPOB begin to hold the government of Biafra to question that they cannot be able to replicate today within our politicians in the southeast. Seaport in the southeast. Electricity in the southeast. Motorable roads in the southeast. Is the failure of our leaders in the southeast. Not yes, the central government has their challenges and they don't like us. But only man and Diro Baria Buruburu. It is when you lose that sense of protection around yourself and developing yourself against Ndilo and Wagi Buruburu, that is when you lose the whole concept of what we are doing. And so I think that the pressure groups are better geared, and this is my point, the pressure groups are better geared at holding. We have seen so many good governments in the Southeast that worked. The very little time P2B stayed in Anambra State, everybody, even though maybe personally I didn't support him or I didn't like him as a governor or maybe in politics, but I feel, and I will always say that without any caveat on that P2B had shown that Anambra State can work. Simon Bakwe showed that Imo State can work. All these people within that federal government, in our current government in the Southeast, even the governor, Mahia, that IPOB also he's one of the best performing governors today for the Southeast. Changing things, renegotiating things, redeveloping things. That is when you can begin to actually hold power and make comments and make arguments. Nothing stops the Igbo land, nothing stops the whole Southeast region or the South Side region to negotiate to have a seaport, a functional seaport. If you don't have that might, and I say that again, if you're not able to develop yourself, there's no way you can begin to negotiate for power. There's no way you can begin to ask for power. There's nobody.
Can I ask you one question, please?
Okay.
Do you know that in Nigeria, before you do anything in your state, you must get approval from the federal government?
No, that's not true. P2B built so many federal roads.
Do you have any proof to the answer that you have given now?
Lagos State built so many federal roads without the approval of it. Just about 2 years ago, Lagos State, you walk the roads that Tinubu built in Lagos State. He built them. P2B built so many roads. Even Ngige, who is in power today, also built so many federal roads without the approval of federal. So you don't need the federal. What people said is, let me build roads, let me develop. If they don't want to pay, let it be and they buy the biofuma. So when you do it and they see that you have done it, and it's benefiting you and growing your economy, they will come.
What about when you don't have money to do it, but it is your right to demand from the federal government?
So why don't you have the money to do it?
If I don't have the money, I don't have.
What has happened to them? Can you tell me how much of our federal allocation actually is being put into the development of the Southeast and the ones that Nana waste? Why do you think? Choma gave an example. Choma gave an example of an individual that has transformed the state from his personal pocket. The Igbos has the might and the economic power, even without the federal power, because that's what Lagos State did. We have the market. Obulo knows also our internal generated revenue. I say in the next 10 years, let's focus on developing the Southeast.
Okay.
And we honestly are focused on it. And all these pressure groups, because I totally agree with what Barrister Chika said. In the way we continue championing some of these pressure groups, you cannot get anything if you don't have the platform to negotiate.
Thank you, Gobuzo. Because a situation like this, I know something that can be verified. Like Maze Ikechukwu jụrụ sị ma enwere ike ịrụ road Anambra State without the authority of federal government approving it. Mara dịka Barrister Chika na Chioma, onwe ihe unu nwere itinye n'ime ya ka anyị n'onu unu biko.
Chioma, should I talk or you want to talk?
Oh, go ahead, Barrister.
Okay, I will have to, Chemeze, I'm afraid I will have to disagree with you on this. You cannot do federal things that are in the exclusive legislative list. You can't do them without approval from the federal government. You must write to the federal government. If the federal government acquiesces, in other words, they say, we don't care. If you want to do it, go ahead. That's fine. But if the federal government says, no, I'm afraid you cannot do that, because that would be unconstitutional. So that's really the short answer to that question. So I think Mazi Ikechukwu is correct in this respect. And this is constitutional. It's not me saying it. So you cannot argue with me because it's in the Constitution.
Yeah, okay. So I've heard all the points that everybody has made, and I think most of them are valid. To start with, I know that you need permission from the central government, and that's why we are talking of restructuring, so that they can devolve some of these powers and give regions the autonomy to do what they want to do and how they want to do it. And I also would want to say that the Igbos, we have developed, because Mazi Ikechukwu asked a question, where do you get money to do whatever you want to do? I know that the Igbos, they have over 74% of investments in Lagos, right? 5% of investment in Lagos is by Hausa Fulani, 15% by foreigners, another 5% by other Nigerians, and just 1% by Yorubas. It's verifiable anyway. And the Igbos have also taken their industriousness to Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, Yobe, Boronu, Adamawa. We have done so much, and we are doing it even outside Nigeria. So my point, which I would want to move off with, is that the agitation for the Biafran state, sovereign state of Biafra, is misplaced, to say the least. It is totally misplaced. And can I correct an impression? Nnamdi Kanu is not the original founder of Biafra. The original founder of Biafra is Mr. John. No, because Mazi Ikechukwu said that before Nnamdi Kanu started this noise, you can't mention Biafra. It's a lie. You can mention Biafra. You can mention Maso. And he hijacked Biafra. I don't believe that with the level of intelligentsia we have in Anambra State and in Igbo land, that Nnamdi Kanu is qualified to lead us. I don't believe that. I need, listen, let me
to lead you in what way?
I like I said initially, to lead us as
and what's stop other people coming up to lead?
Let me land, Chifil. Like I said, I'm a bona fide Biafran. I'm as Biafran as yourself, right? Because we are all Igbos. And one thing we want, we want the Igbo land. We want our homeland to be better. The same thing I said in other forums, or forum that I have been called to speak. I say that until we develop the African continent, nobody will take any black person. Okay, now let me not even say black person. Nobody will take us serious because our continent is failing us. They know that where do you go to? Look at Lagos State making mouth, Igbos must go. Look at Kanu making mouth, Igbos must go. Why are they saying those? Because they think in their own little minds that we cannot go back to where we come from. We can actually. If Nnamdi Kanu and all the champions of Mossab, IPOB and all that, which of course they have a right to self-determination or self-actualization, if they channeled their energy to holding our leaders accountable, I don't think that in the next 10 years we will still be talking of Nigeria, please give us independence. Because we would have developed our region to a point where...
Ask your question, please. Chioma, there is a question I asked also. I said, don't you think that this pressure group like the IPOB and all this will help to have a better settlement from the federal government?
Yes, they will help, right? But when you say settlement,
like now what we're talking about is the way forward for the Igbos. Because way forward for the Igbos, whether it's solution of Biafra or restructuring Nigeria, a restructured Nigeria. Because when you talk of restructured Nigeria, it's where you talk about all these things we are discussing today being done for the Southeasterners. Now the Oduduwas are now agitating also. I could see some things on the social media this time around. The Oduduwas shouting that they want the Republic of Oduduwa now.
They protested in London, not on social media. They protested in London.
So So the agitations are they are good. But what I'm saying is this, right? Because in Nigeria currently, we have the numbers to get us
No, we don't.
restructuring.
Phil, hold on, please.
No,
Please,
we
hold
have.
on. You will come to that. We'll come to you.
We have.
Choma,
Do you know why I say
look at the time and round up on the question.
Yeah. Do you know why I say we have, right? Because other regions, with the exception of some core northern states, other regions are thinking that it's not even about resource control or resource allocation rivalries. Other regions are also thinking the way we are thinking. What do you think the call for state police is all about? What do you think it's all about? When politicians are saying now we want state police, it's part of devolution, it's part of restructuring. Do you understand? It's just a question of semantics, but they come down to the same thing. So agitations are, in my own point, personal opinion, for IPOB, misplaced.
Can I ask a question, please? Thank you very much. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You mentioned Barrister Chika, you mentioned that we need a platform, we need a political platform to be able to engage the Nigerian government. Nnamdi, when he came to Nigeria, he was in London, he came to Nigeria, he engaged our Eastern governors. He had a few meetings with them in Enugu, which is verified. Okay, he discussed things with them. Okay, all they wanted him to do was to change his ideology. That was all they said. Before we can listen to you, before we can continue, you need to drop the agitation. Nnamdi Kanu said no. And because he said no, he was not going to drop the agitation, they all signed up for him. He was arrested, jailed, taken to Abuja, court after court. Eventually, after over 2 years, he was released. And then he was invited to come to court. They couldn't let him come to court. They decided,
sorry, PL, is that a question or a history?
What
How you wanted
are you
to
stopping me? Is it irrelevant? So what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that how can we engage the Nigerian government? How can we engage them?
Could I answer that question?
Yeah, Chika, hold on 1 minute, Chika. There's a question for you on the screen, which says, can Barrister Chika tell us how he thinks Nigeria can be restructured when there's nothing working in the southeast? No electricity, no water, nothing. How do you think Nigeria can be restructured? Is a question for you on the YouTube.
Yeah,
live question.
Yes, I'm going to answer that question, but may I first of all answer this question because that's really very important. The question of the platform. First of all, I'm not going to advise IPOD on the platform which they choose to have, but if I may make suggestions, right? When Nnamdi Kanu came back, I don't follow the history of what Nnamdi Kanu does, but the fact of the matter remains that I remember in 2014, I think in 2015 or thereabout, just before that election, there were so many political parties that are available. You understand? And I was writing on social media. I was writing on Facebook. I was speaking to people in Nigeria who are my friends. I want to come back to actually join IPOB. And I thought it was the best moment, the best political moment in history that was missed, because IPOB could have hijacked all the, I think it's 90 political parties or something like that, could have hijacked one of those political parties, right? And with the influence that Nnamdi Kanu had then, because a lot of young people, particularly artisans and artisans, motor park workers, and so on and so forth, we are really going for it. I thought you guys would have hijacked one political party then and use it. Can you imagine where you win? There are about 5 core Igbo states, and the governor in about 4 of them or 3 of them are IPOB supporters. And out of, I think, about 25 senators we have from our area, maybe about 10 or 15 of them are IPOB party members. Because those parties have already been registered. Those parties have already been registered. So the question of deregistering it does not arise. Can you imagine if you guys have hijacked one of those political parties and use it to run so that you have a platform at the federal level, you attend Federal Executive Council, right? Where you and Buhari will be arguing, right? Where you have Senate, let me just finish before you come in, please, sir. Now, where you now have a platform, power, finance, with which you can now advance the cause of Biafra at that level.
You're taking a note.
Barrister,
you're taking a note of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigerian Constitution of 1996 said Nigeria is indivisible, indissoluble, and the other thing. And you're taking their oath. If you mention it, you'll be picked up and arrested and jailed.
No, let me answer the question on the screen. Can I answer the question on the screen? Can I answer the question on the screen?
Yeah, Chika, can you answer the question?
Yes. There's always this belief that restructuring is impossible because the way it is, the number of legislators and all that. But what I want to do today is actually, I have a list here, and I have done this on purpose, right? To look at the states that are actually core northern states. And I don't want to read them out, but if we have time, I'll read them out. There are about 13 core northern states. They are Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Niger, Yobe, Sokoto, Zamfara. If you like, you can add Taraba and Adamawa. It doesn't make any difference. But these are middle belt states, by the way. Then the core southern states, and I'm going to make this relevant, are Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, Imo, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Rivers, and one other state that I didn't mention. There are about 17 of them. Then in the middle belt, if you like, if you remove Adamawa from the core north, because Adamawa is not core north, you have Adamawa, Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Plateau, Taraba, and Abuja. And we know how these people in the middle belt want restructuring. Now we have 17 core southern states who want restructuring. Afenifere, right? The Pandef, the Ohanese, IPOB, whichever way you look at it. In the core north, you have 136 legislators. In the core south, you have 167 legislators, right? So in these states in the middle belt, we know Benue wants restructuring. We know Kogi wants restructuring. We know Kwara wants. We know Nasarawa wants. We know Plateau wants. Now you can remove Taraba. We know Abuja always goes south, right? When they vote because of the for Igbos who live there. So when you now do the calculation of the legislators and the senators, it is possible. What happened in those, when you had those, the 33 items that were voted for in 2017 was because some of the legislators were thinking about their bank account, their emoluments, because nothing there, which the core north fears, distribution of resources, allocation of resources, right? That is what their fear is. And what we are saying is that if you negotiate well, seeing that we have actually the core south are actually more in number in terms of legislators and senators. And that's a fact. Now, I'm not making it up. It's there. The number of legislators and senators are there, right? Now, if you negotiate well, these states in the middle belt want restructuring. So what you need is to negotiate well with Yoruba states, right? And the South-South, which is Rivers, Cross River, and so on and so forth. You have enough to tilt the balance in order for you to get your restructuring. It is possible. What happened is that those who are supposed to be clamoring for it have not negotiated well. Like I told you, the interview granted by Lawan, who is today the Senate president, is Bauchi, I think it's Bauchi Central also. Don't quote me on that. But he said those who sponsored that bill did not negotiate well, right? And so my contention is that it is possible for us to have enough numbers at the federal level to do this, but you need a president who is comfortable with restructuring. And that is one of the reasons why we are hoping that we're going to get an Igbo man, right, to become president in 2023. And now people say it's not possible. It's actually possible because there are two political parties that will produce the president in 2023, APC or PDP. So what we need is actually to get one of us, because if an Igbo man becomes PDP presidential candidate, we're 50% there. Then you play what I call the mathematics of presidential election. You must take Lagos for your numbers because you need 25% of the votes in each state, right? About 26 states you need out of the 36 in order for you to win. Now, please, this is really important because I think a lot of people say this is not possible. It is possible. Once you get an Igbo man to be the PDP or APC presidential candidate, you are 50% there. We know that whoever that is running on APC is going to run on the coattails of Buhari. So we give them the 10 northern states. But once you win in the middle belt, you win Benin to Calabar, right? It's very important. And then in the core Igbo states, you deny whoever that is running on the other side 25% of the votes. You become president. That is the mathematics of presidential election. It's been there since 1960. That's how it works. So I think if you have a president who is comfortable with restructuring, with the number of legislators we have from the core southern states, and then negotiate with people in the middle belt, forget the core north. They have only 13 states there, and they have 136 legislators, okay? We have 167 legislators. So it's possible. That's my point. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, Chika. Thank you. Thank you very much, Barrister Chika. Thank you. Excuse me. We are running late of time now, and I want everybody to round up. Let us round up with your talk. 2 minutes round up talk, so that you should air your view, whatever you think that will help to restructure or to help the Igbos in the Nigerian politics. Please, can we start with Phil? What do you think that will help the Igbos to move forward in Nigerian politics? A round-up talk, please, and be brief. It's 2 minutes. We have only 10 minutes to go.
I think the best thing for the Igbos is to continue in pressure. When we continue putting pressure in the federal government and get our political elite to forget about their personal interests, forget about their property, forget about their road. If we become a country, a Biafran sovereign state, it doesn't matter. You're not going to lose your house. You're not going to lose your business. You don't need to have access to the waterway. The Geneva Convention will be a member of the international community. You will have right to move about. You have right to use the waterways. The waterways cannot be locked by a country because they're not part of your country. You cannot do that. So the point is that what we need is to engage and get our political elite to support the cause of the Biafra, so that we can get our country, and that is the only way. That is the only way forward for us. Thank you.
Dr. Chioma, can we hear what you have to say in 2 minutes to round up?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I want to say a big thank you to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because his agitation has actually made people to recognize the Biafran sovereign states issue. But again, if I may ask them to please channel your agitation to the right sources. And what do I mean by that? Give you the the elected Igbo politicians the necessary pressure so that they can begin to engage with their citizens, so that they can begin to think of how to carry out their mandates until our political and economic leaders recognizes the need to develop our region into a mini Singapore. No region in Nigeria will take us serious. We continue to develop other regions at the expense of our homeland. I believe, and I want to repeat it again, I believe that the Igbo nation is likely to be an economic success. Yes. If we make our central focus for now, not on the agitation of actualization of the Republic of Biafra, because it's not visible, it's not plausible that we can get that. As a devolved territory, we will have the powers to make legislations in relevant areas that will enhance the livelihood of our people. That is when we will attract attention, both internationally and domestically. Thank you very much.
Ikechukwu, kedu ihe nwere ịgwa anyị na mkpokọta okwu gị?
Ndewo no ụmụnne. Ihe mmụọ nwere ịgwa anyị nwa bụ ka anyị mara na anyị nwere nsogbu na anyị Igbo anyị, and nsogbu anyị nwere bụ ndị ikwe na ndị ekwe. Dịka nwanne anyị nwanyị Dr. Chioma si kwuo okwu, anyị na-ediri ijikọ onwe anyị ọnụ, mana ọnụ anyị ga-ejikọ onwe anyị bụ ịma na anyị chọrọ Biafra, and Biafra bụ the only thing bụ ya bịa today, because before this time anyị nwere structure. Mgbe Nnamdi Kanu pụtara as a Biafran leader, mgbe nwere all the those ya na nọ na ọchịchị mgbe anwa, nwere structure, and that structure m believe na the structure ka dị, and all a structure that will favor all Biafrans. So ka anyị ghara iji ụjọ dịka nwanne anyị nwaanyị si kwuo, ma ọ ka agaba ọgụ ọzọ. Ọ bụghị isi na ị chọrọ freedom ga-enwe onye kwesịrị, onye ghọtara nụ n'obodo oyibo enweghị onye na-egbu ibe ya because maka na ị kwuru okwu, enwere freedom. So m chọrọ ịgwa ndị be anyị, ndị na-ege ntị, ndị ga-awọchịkwa n'ife anyị mere n'ụbọchị taa bụ ka ha mara na the only way anyị nwere iji were mana ọganihu anyị bụ through Biafra. Anyị nweta Biafra, anyị kwubezi okwu ka anyị ga-esi enwe ndị ọzọ, mana ndị ọchịchị anyị nwere bụ ha bụ nsogbu anyị nwere, maka na achọọ ha ịnọ n'okpuru mmadụ. Anaghị m ekwu okwu ha wee lose ife ha nwere, because enwe nke ha ga-elose. Biafra will go for anything that belongs to any Biafran citizen, so let them be rest assured, but we need their support to actualize what we need, that is Biafra for all. Ndewo.
Thank you very much. Ugobuzuo, kedu ihe nwere iji wee kpọkọta okwu a?
Ndewo na ụmụnne m, ịma anyị ekwugo okwu a kwutee ya aka, and for me, I believe na what is primary, what is the most important single thing we need to begin to do and put our energy into is our think-home philosophy. How can we develop our Igbo nations to the point that we will be able to get the kind of leaders that will actually seek for restructuring and develop and evolution, then ultimately get us to the position, if required, of an independent state. Step by step. But we cannot have a restructured state today. What would be the success of our restructured state if we cannot learn how to develop what we have? What would be the success of our independent state if we don't have leaders, if we are not within ourselves leaders that could develop the resources that we have? Let us concentrate our efforts today on building what we have, taking the next step to a restructured nation, because we have the right leadership and the right economic might to actually make those negotiations and then progress to the next stage when required. I think this is the way to go. That is my position.
Thank you very much, Ogobuzu. Barrister Chika, do you have anything to say?
Well, you ask everybody to conclude. Obviously, I'm going to say something. First of all, let me thank all the participants. First, thank you, Emeka, for giving us the opportunity to speak to our people. I believe that these are very important issues for Igbos. And let me say great thank you to all those who participated in this program. I respect everybody's opinion. We can disagree, but we need to respect each other's opinion. But in concluding, I do believe that the best thing for Igbos is to remain in the larger structure of Nigeria, but have devolution, if I may borrow that word from Dr. Chioma, and or restructuring as the case may be. And I believe that restructuring is possible. I believe that proper negotiation, that we can get restructuring. And I also believe that it is possible for us to get an Igbo president in 2023. Now, with respect to Nnamdi Kanu, I respect Nnamdi Kanu for who have to lead people. Leading people is not easy. Whether I disagree with him on his modus operandi is an entirely different thing. So for that, I respect him. There's no doubt about that. But I disagree with the way he puts our young people into harm's way. I don't agree with that. And I believe that because they don't have a platform upon which to engage and negotiate with the federal government, and bearing in mind that this is not, referendum is not part of our constitution, that if you want it, you have to make legislation to change it. I don't think they're going to get it. And I think the best thing will be for us to go through constitutional means, because the last thing I'm going to say, Igbo economy is larger than the landmass. Thank you.
Daalụ na ụmụnne m, na njedebe ọnọdụ anyị na mgbede nke tata, ana m ekene onye ọbụla wepụtara oge ya wee bịa ka anyị nwee mkparịta ụbụbọ na Igbo nọ n'ụzọ ije. Ana m ekene onye ọbụla Ugogbuzuo, ana m ekene gị Barrister Chika, ana m ekene gị Dr. Chioma, okpe ekene ka m bụ abịakwute gị. Ifechukwu kwuru Chief
Egbe,
ana m ekene gị nne. Nwanne anyị nwoke bụ Maazị Ikechukwu, ana m ekene gị.
Daalụ.
Mana ịkpọkọta okwu m na mgbede nke tata, ọ kwere m ka nghọta na ihe ahụ a na-ekwu n'Igbo enwere ofu obi ka m na-afụ na mgbede a, maka mmadụ ise anyị dị ebe a enwere ike ịkpakọrịta ụbụbọ, chịkọta okwu ọnụ ka okwu anyị bụrụ ofu, ka anyị wee jekwube ndị gọọmenti ma ọ bụ kosinadị ka anyị ga-esi wee dozi ala Igbo be anyị. Ana m ekene onye ọbụla na atụmatụ nke o wepụtara ka anyị wee nwee ike idozi be anyị. Mana n'obi nke m na-asị na-enye ndị Igbo ndụmọdụ ka anyị nwee ike ịkpakọta ọnụ were ofu obi. Ọ bụrụ na anyị sị na ọ bụ restructuring in Nigeria ka anyị chọrọ, ka Igbo niile bụrụ ofu wee sị na ọ bụ restructuring. Ọ bụrụ na Biafra ka anyị chọrọ, ka Igbo niile bụrụ ofu wee chọba ya bụ Biafra. Mana okwe nke nghọta na ndị ụfọdụ na-ekwu na Biafra adịrọ viable, restructuring adịrọkwu. Mana ka o si na dị, ana m ekene onye ọbụla anyị ka ya enwekwa mkparịta ụbụbọ ọnụnwa n'oge na-adịrọkwa anya n'ụzọ dị ọzọ, maka na azị na oge adịrọzi. N'oge mgbede tata bụ ụbọchị ọmụmụ m, amasị ka mee ka emechie, maka ị na-anya n'azụ ebe ị ga-afụ achịcha ihe a birthday cake m nka ya jee wawa na mgbede a. Ndị onye agara nwanne ya nwere ebe anyị na-eji ụwa mgbede. Aga m eburu achịcha ma pụtawa na nke ndị onye agara nwanne ya na mgbede a, ka anyị ga nwee obi aṅụrị. Ugogbuzuo
Egbe,
ama m na ị nwere idea ihe na-ekwu.
uche m dị ya.
Udo. So biko nụ, ana m ekele onye ọbụla bịara ka anyị nọkọrọ ya na Igbo nọ n'ụzọ ije.
Enwekwa m idea. Ihe a bụrụkwa
ọbịa ka m ji na-ekwu ya kịta. Ọbịa ka m ji na-ekwu ya kịta. Mejezie ka ịjụba eze ịmụgoro ebe onye anyị mụgo ndị bụ onye agara nwanne ya. Onye agara nwanne ya bụ nnukwu otu nke dị na Glasgow n'ụwa. Anyị nwere ebe anyị na-adị enwebe ụwa mgbede. So na mgbede n'ụwa, ọ dị ka ndị onye agara nwanne ya ga-ezukọkwa n'ebe ahụ ka anyị nwee ike ịnọkọrịta otu anyị si anọkọrịta ka ụmụnne. So ana m ekene onye ọbụla ka anyị na-abịa n'isi njedebe na Igbo nọ n'ụzọ ije n'ụbọchị ike tata bụ 19th of September 2020, ụbọchị ọmụmụ m bụ egbe ejiri gbuo agụ na Glasgow. Udo dịrị unu ụmụnne m.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye.
You cannot talk after. This is background. I hope you're not sharing this one.
Yeah, everything is live. We're live.
Oh, come on, please. You can't be live. The thing is over. By the way, you look very handsome, Emeka.
Thank you very much, Barrister Chika.
You should be thinking of getting another wife, a second one as chief.
Oh, as a chief, I deserve to have 4 wives.
What of that your friend, the one that recorded the interview I did with you? Where is he?
Judge, he's there.
That is fine.
Thank you very much.
I hope you got my fact.
I was just pleased to be here. See, so I saw you guys. But
Okay.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you, George.
Yes.
It's been ages. How are things?
No, we thank God, my brother. We thank God. I'll take this one out. Don't worry. Yes. Chimene, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Yeah. But we need to catch up. Yes. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove this from the live.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not cheap. Yes, let me just remove this from the live. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, stop it. I've been this.
You're still showing live.
No. I'm trying to end the live. Sorry. Let me. Sorry. No, that's a mistake.
Chiemeze.